That's why.
Calm before the storm.
Yeah.
Good evening, President, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. Welcome to the 209th meeting of the ICG Toastmasters Club. I'm your friendly neighborhood Sergeant Arms, Stuti Gaitonde, and today's meeting is going to be one fun one. I shall begin by reading the mission statement of our club. The mission of a Toastmasters Club is to provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. I would also like to mention the ground rules that we will be following during this meeting. Kindly ensure that your cell phones are switched off. In case you've logged in from your cell phone, please ensure that it's on silent mode. Kindly mute yourself once you finish speaking. Please ensure that you're in an area with less noise and disturbance and one with good internet connectivity. If you suddenly do find yourself logged out during the course of the meeting, please do rejoin. Lastly, I'd like to request all of you to please keep your videos on because your reactions motivate our speakers. With this, it's now time for my favorite segment, the fact of the day. Did you know, instead of horoscope, the Japanese attribute personality traits to blood type? So don't be surprised when on your next trip to Japan, someone randomly walks up to you and asks you what your blood group is. With this, we're all set to begin. Sit back, relax, as I now hand over to the president of our club. He's charming, warm, enigmatic, and outgoing. None other than Toastmaster Sertorio. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Stuti. And glad to know that all the Japanese are after our blood. Yeah, for the guest out there, Toastmaster is a non-profit organization which looks into the educational and public speaking skills. For this online meeting, the agenda of the meeting will be put in the chat box. Zoom Master, can you put the agenda? Yeah, and also do fill up the Google guest form before you leave the meeting. So we have a guest, Tahira Pereira. Can you reintroduce yourself and let us know how you came to know about Toastmasters?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Tahira Pereira, and I'm an ex-student of Shadamali School and a current student in Tempe College of Arts and Science. Well, I've always seen people talk so confidently in events, and I always wanted to be like that, confident. So I was hoping that this would help me be more confident, and my mom actually suggested that I should join this actually. And she also mentioned that Ma'am Sharmila was part of this, and then she's like, you should do it. And I'm like, okay, I will do this because it'll be really good for me to be more confident.
Yeah, so your mom is one smart woman, Tahira. And joining,
sorry?
Your mom is one smart woman. So joining Toastmasters will definitely help you. And don't worry, you'll feel like home because most of the people in the group, I think besides me, are all from Shraddha Mandir. So you'll feel right at home in the club.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Do stay on for the rest of the meeting. We also have a guest from Vasco. Shania, can you introduce yourself?
Hey, good evening. I'm Toastmaster Shania from Vasco Toastmasters Club. I've completed my pre-university in Bangalore and now currently pursuing my IMBA in Goa University. I'm a really talkative person, so don't mind me if I just ask you all on the spot questions. Then side by side, I even doing my training in network marketing in the Forever Living company. Yes, that's all.
Okay, that's good. It's good to be talkative. So,
There's someone called Kanchan Goyal also, Sito.
sorry,
Goyal. I think
There's one more guest called Kanchan.
Anchan. Hi,
Yeah.
Anchan Goel. Sorry, I missed.
Hi, hi.
Yeah, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Kanchan Goel, and I am a psychologist, a counselor. I was introduced to Toastmasters by Farida. That was quite some time back, and I've been procrastinating to join that since quite long. So and now finally I decided I should come into the arena and see what's in store for me. So here I am. I'm basically based in Mumbai, and I was introduced to Umesh, Toastmaster Umesh, through Meenakshi, and that's how I'm here today as a guest to see what happens in Toastmasters and what should I expect, and go ahead in my journey here.
Yeah, so Kanchan, the best way to avoid procrastination is to just do it. So
Yes.
right after the meeting, our VP membership is going to call you and do join at
Sure.
that moment itself.
Sure.
Yeah. So do we have any more guests?
what about the enigmatic?
Oh, the
who's
the
not
enigmatic
revealing
dad.
himself herself?
the enigmatic dad or the enigmatic daughter.
Divina,
Can-
tell him to speak.
Well, I don't think that will happen. So we can move on.
Yeah. So if you don't speak, your daughter is in trouble.
It's okay. I can handle that.
Okay. Okay. So do we have any more guests? No. So let's get straight down into business. And to conduct a meeting today, we have a very enigmatic person. She was the eldest of 3 daughters. And her greatest talent was to always escape her punishment. So whatever she did, she would always blame her younger 2 daughters. And though her dad was a criminal lawyer, the one culprit he never caught was a Toastmaster for the day. Introducing the Toastmaster of the day, the energetic, the enigmatic Toastmaster, Monica.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sartorio, for that unique introduction of mine. Your star sign is Virgo, and Virgos have an eye for detail and are sharp, so which enables them to say just right things at right moment. So thank you so much for that introduction.
No, I do say a lot of silly things, Monica. So
Greetings and salutations, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. Toastmasters pathways. How do we decide our pathway in Toastmasters? We answer a few questions in a questionnaire, and the suggested pathway automatically appears. Have you ever wondered, why are the pathways not same for each of us? What is it based on? If it is based on our responses to the questionnaire, why are the responses so different? Is it only because we are different, our experiences are different? Is it genetics, or is there something else to it? During our speeches, we have come across the usage of language like he has a fiery personality. She appears to be as calm as water. She has a down-to-earth personality. He has no airs about himself. We sometimes associate our character to these elements of nature: earth, air, water, and fire. They all form the basis of 12 signs of Zodiac, which is the theme for today. In astronomy, the Zodiac is the band of sky along which the paths of the sun, the moon, and the planets appear to move. The 12 signs of Zodiac, that is Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpius, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. They are all guided by our planets. And it is said each of them influences the personality, goals, motivations, and relationships of people. It is astounding to believe that the characteristics of individuals born under the same constellations match to the highest degree. Today, we have 5 speakers and 5 evaluators, each one unique in his or her own way. You may find few similarities in some, or may find them totally different to each other. I am sure you must be eager to know the zodiac sign that they belong to. Let us start the journey of this enigmatic and mystical world of constellations and zodiac. I have with me today few shining stars to brighten the path which the meeting takes. I'll be introducing them one by one. What is the difference between astrology and astronomy? Is horoscope same as horoscope? How do you pronounce Sagittarius? Is it Sagittarius or is it Sagittarius? Is it Gemini or Gemini? Virgo or Virgo? Don't you think we need an expert advice on this? And who can do it better than our first star, our grammarian for today? When I asked her about her strengths, she said, I think I am a good communicator. I am determined and focused on the things that I want to do. According to her, zodiac signs play a big role in the development of our personality. And her traits totally match her zodiac sign, Capricorn. Capricorns are known for their willpower, determination, and practical outlook. Over to you, Toastmaster Divina, the grammarian for today. Toastmaster Divina.
You are my sun sign, my only sun sign. You make me happy when you align. You never know, dear, how you make my day. Please don't take my sun sign away. Good evening, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and invited guests. My name is Dina, and I will be the grammarian for the day. As a grammarian, I will keep track of the use of some outstanding words, correct grammar, phrases, quotes, idioms by the speakers today, and will make note of the improper language used. One of the rules that are there in grammar is a double negative is a no-no. That's just one example. Now, let us aspire to become a dinosaur that knows most of the synonyms. A thesaurus. Let us take note of the word of the day, which is enigmatic. It means difficult to interpret or understand. A few synonyms of the word are mysterious, puzzling, and mystifying. Few antonyms would be straightforward and clear. An example of the use would be under the spotlight. The dark painting looks enigmatic and spooky. Without further ado, let us begin our rapturous meeting for the day, and I will get back to you with my grammarian report. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day, Ma'am Monica.
Thank you, Toastmaster Divina. That was indeed a melodious introduction of yourself. Every zodiac sign boasts of an individual approach to life along with its own strengths and weaknesses. But the common aspect which determines the zodiac sign of an individual is time, his or her birth time. Just as time is inevitable part of the existence of all zodiac signs, similarly, our timer is an inevitable part of the Toastmasters. Our timer for today is Toastmaster Nelly. She's hardworking and helpful. She says, I am a perfectionist and my zodiac influences me. Any guesses for Toastmaster Nelly's zodiac sign? She's
Virgo.
She's a Virgo. Virgo, their conclusions are based on long thought process and deep analysis. And that results in nothing but perfection. Over to you, Toastmaster Nelly.
On the 31st August at 2:30 p.m., a star was shined upon and a plump girl was born. Greetings, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Timing of your birth is so important. It tells volumes of your personality. It emphasizes on the importance of today's role, that's my role today, as a timer. So before I read out the timer, I will share my screen. Okay, can you all see my screen? Is my screen visible?
Yeah,
Okay.
it just started
Loading.
screen sharing.
So at 5 minutes, when the speaker speaks, 5 minutes, I will show the green card. At 6 minutes, I shall show the yellow card. At 7 minutes, I shall show the red card. For the evaluation, at 2 minutes, I shall show the, okay. For the evaluation, at 2 minutes, I shall show the green card. 2 minutes, 30 seconds, I shall show the yellow card. And at 3 minutes, I shall show the red card. That's all from the timer. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nelly.
My report once called upon by the general evaluator. Over to you, TMOD, Monica. Yes.
Thank you, Toastmaster Nelly. Do you know every star sign has its unique way of releasing stress, taking pauses? I am sure none of us noticed it or correlated it to Zodiac. We often brand it as repetitive words, or in Hindi, what we call it as takiya kalam. When in stress, one sign sighs and stums. Other takes a bath or shower. One takes a deep breath, whereas the other eats. However, while oration, surprisingly, all signs display a common pattern of releasing stress or taking a pause, and that is in the form of ahs and ums. And here is where our arc master comes in picture. Trust me, it is difficult to count the ahs, but our arc master does it to perfection. When I asked her about her strengths, she identified herself as headstrong and honest. According to her, planetary positions do affect. However, our experiences shape our life. And after working with her as a co-teacher, I could immediately connect it to her zodiac sign, that is Taurus. Over to you, Toastmaster Smita.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Monica. Good evening, everyone. As our TMOD rightly said, that each one of us is unique like those constellations. With zodiac influences and whole life experiences, we mature. At every stage, our thought process evolves, leading to enigmatic persona. Like a young college student, look, my Valentine. But the brain says, alert, alert. The zodiacs don't match. And then, long pause. But the same college students, better version, after many years into relationship, when presents a gift and says, happy birthday, my dear. Beware of the next question. Flow a big, broad smile. The zodiacs melting as they know each other's counter. Today is a speakathon. Galaxy of speakers, Toastmasters, and their evaluators from 4 different important elements of our universe. Some will glide on the air. Others will give their master strokes to win, while others will play with fire and conquer. Others will rocket high with their earthy roots. Me, TM Smita, your Toastmaster Smita, your counter for today, will watch for this long pauses, repetitive words, and will present the report at the end of the day when called upon by general evaluators. So, fasten your seatbelt and be ready for the time travel to enjoy the beauty of brightness of our constellations. Watch out for the shooting stars. Thank you. Over to you, TMOD Mona, the lioness. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Smita. It is my assumption that when the horoscopes are matched during a marriage proposal, one prominent character which endorses the fact that one will be a good husband is his listening skills. As mentioned by Toastmaster Kurian himself, patience and ability to be focused are his strongest points, which also relates to his zodiac sign, Virgo. Virgo are great at listening and can give you the best possible advice. Over to you, Toastmaster Kurian.
So good evening, everyone. Do we really feel and believe that the stars so far away can actually control our lives? Well, as a student of modern science, I have my doubts. And today, I am here to actually go on a journey with all of you and with all of you wonderful speakers to see how Zodiac really has an effect on our lives. So I would also like to welcome everybody to this wonderful experience with me. But let me also start by saying that I'm going to see and carefully listen to all that you're going to say and look out for new words, some quotations, and interesting experiences that you're going to share. So be careful. I'm going to be listening to all that you're going to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Kurian. With this collection of stars forming unique constellation of ICG Toastmasters, we start with our volley of speeches. For the benefit of guests, I would like to state that today's meeting is different. It is a speakathon. This speakathon will have two sections. Section 1 is a prepared speech section, and section 2 is the evaluation section. Normally, we have one more section of table topics, which isn't there today. Section 2, that is the evaluation section, will be led by the general evaluator. And now we start our speakathon. Best wishes to all the speakers. I invite our first speaker for today. Our first speaker for today believes that her strengths are her sense of empathy and ability to talk to people, especially her patients, comfort them and make them feel heard. She doesn't believe in Zodiac. However, she views it as a source of entertainment and is quick to look at any Instagram post that talks about different personality traits. She is our own Toastmaster Stuti. Her zodiac sign is Libra, and Librans are known for their empathy, hard work, and friendly attitude. You are a perfect embodiment of your zodiac traits, Toastmaster Stuti. Before her speech, I request her evaluator, Toastmaster Aarti, to read her speech objectives.
Very good evening, everyone. Okay. Am I audible?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. So my speaker today, Toastmaster Stuti, will be presenting her Level 2 Project 2. Pathway is dynamic leadership. The purpose of her speech today is to learn about the different communication styles and identify her primary style. It is also for the member to share the impact of her style on others. She has 5 to 7 minutes to present her speech, and the title of her speech is Speak Games. All the very best, Stuti. Over to you, TMOD.
Thank you, Toastmaster Aarti. Toastmaster Stuti, Speak Game. Speak Game, Toastmaster Stuti.
Actions speak louder than words. But if I were only to act, truly understand what I was trying to say. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. I'm back. Should I restart?
Yes, Stuti, you can. You may.
I'll start from the beginning again.
Yes. You weren't.
Okay. Okay. My timing needs to be reset.
Toastmaster Nelly.
Toastmaster Nelly, are you there? Let me share the screen. Visible, Stuti?
Yes. And I'm visible and audible, right?
Yes.
Okay. Actions speak louder than words. But if I were only to act, you truly understand what I was trying to say. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. This is your host, Toastmaster Stuti Gaitonde, and today we're going to be playing one of my all-time favorite games, What's My Communication Style? The rules of the game are simple. 3 rounds, each round comprising one communication style that you have to guess and write down in the chat box below. Before we start, let me get you all acquainted with the 4 different communication styles. Make sure you note them down. Style 1, direct communicators. These communicators are always crisp and to the point. They're focused, driven, and goal-oriented. Style 2, initiating communicators. These communicators, on the other hand, are a melting pot of ideas. They're filled with stories that absolutely have to be expressed. Style 3, supportive communicators. These communicators are patient, calm, and empathetic. In fact, they make the best kind of listeners. Finally, style 4, analytical communicators. Boy, do their words have weight. They put a lot of thought into their speech. Hope you've noted down the 4 communication styles because we're all set to go. Starting with round 1. This scene is set in the oral surgery department of Goa Dental College. My patient Sally is all set to go for her extraction and has just been prepped with a shot of anesthesia when she decides to have a panic attack in the dental chair in front of me. Doctor, I want to go home, doctor. I can't do this. That injection hurt me so much, doctor. Your extraction will hurt me even more. Please let me go home, doctor. Sally, calm down, okay? Deep breath. Listen, I gave you that injection so that you don't feel a thing during your extraction. And I promise you, I'll be very gentle, okay? Viewers, it's your turn now. Tell me, what do you think was my communication style in this round? For those of you that guessed the supportive communication style, well done. Moving on to round 2. This scene is set a little bit closer to home. It takes place during a Zoom call with none other than my mentor, Toastmaster Vishwaja. And it goes something like this. Stuti, I love your icebreaker. Amazing speech. But you do know that an icebreaker is supposed to be only 2 to 3 major anecdotes that define your life, right? Not an entire autobiography. Vishwaja. But all these anecdotes are so important to me. They're all so cute. I have to share all of them. I understand, Stuti. But you do know that you have a time limit of only 4 to 6 minutes, right? Vishwaja, this is my first speech, no? I'm sure the club will understand. Let me just speak to the timer and convince them to slightly increase my time limit to 4 to 6 hours instead. Toastmaster Vishwaja, to this day, has to put up with the arduous task of helping me reduce my speech from 1,500 words to 500 words. I don't know how she does it, but I'm so grateful for her. Anyways, viewers, back to you again. What do you think was my communication style? To those of you that guessed initiating, give yourselves a pat on your back. Moving on, round 3, final round, set during my group periodontics project. I've segregated topics among each and every member in the group and even created a WhatsApp group for the discussion of our progress. Everybody has been warned in advance. Anyone who dares to use this group for any kind of tomfoolery will not only be kicked out of the group, but will end up landing a straight 0 on their project. My goal is clear. There can be only one best presentation, and that presentation will be delivered by my team. Viewers, I ask you for the final time today, what was my communication style? Well done to those of you that guessed direct. Now, for my preparation for this project, I was required to take a quiz that would help me understand my communication style better. My result was the direct communication style. And I don't exactly agree with this result because I personally believe that my communication style is an amalgamation of all the 3 styles we've discussed today: supportive, initiating, and direct. The one communication style that I haven't mentioned today also happens to be the only communication style I still haven't quite figured out: the analytical one. Turns out I have a bad case of foot in the mouth and can completely relate to Hagrid when he says, I shouldn't have said that. It's all a learning process. And I'm sure that by the end of my Toastmasters journey, I will have learned to think a little bit more before I speak. Anyways, this is a wrap. Thank you all for being the most cooperative viewers today. This is your host, Toastmaster Stuti Gaitonde, signing off. Until next time. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Toastmaster Monica, you're on mute.
Let us have a 30 seconds break to give our feedback to Toastmasters Stuti.
I just wanted to confirm, is the speaker visible to everyone?
Yes, now I can see ma'am TM Monica. TMOD Monica.
Yes, Tuti was visible to me already.
Toastmaster Monica, was she visible to you?
Yeah,
Earlier she was
she
visible.
was.
Now it is
She was.
screen sharing. Now I can see her.
Toastmaster Vishwaja, you'll tell us 30 seconds when it is over.
Yes. I think we can proceed.
30 seconds up. Yeah.
Second speaker for today is Toastmaster Shantanu. According to him, his strengths are his listening skills. He is a person we can go to when in need of any advice or emotional support. He is hoping to learn more about Zodiac today. Toastmaster Shantanu, your Zodiac sign is Taurus, and Taurians have high standards, so they will always make you believe and hope for more and better. These traits truly personify Toastmaster Shantanu. I would like to request his evaluator, Toastmaster Paddy, to read out his speech objectives.
Thank you, TM Monica. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guest. TM Shantanu is giving us Level 2, Project 3, Pathway Innovative Planning. The speech is on Introduction to Toastmasters Mentoring, titled Mentors Comes Alive. The purpose of this project is for Shantanu to clearly define how Toastmasters envisions mentoring and also to share some aspects of his previous experience as a prodigy. He has 5 to 7 minutes to deliver his speech. Welcome, Shantanu. Mentors come alive.
Thank you, Toastmaster Paddy. Toastmaster Shantanu, mentors come alive. Mentors come alive, Toastmaster Shantanu.
Could I just see the timer screen? I'm not able to see it right now.
Visible?
Yeah, visible. Yeah. Mentorship. What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear this word? Does it take you back to your childhood when your mother taught you how to walk? Or does it remind you of political leaders who do nothing but talk? If you're me, then mentorship signifies only one thing: teachers, and how they've impacted my life in every stage. This speech is dedicated to you unsung heroes who continuously shape all of our lives and have turned us into what we are today. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and my dear guests. Today's story is about a timid little boy who hated the place called school. He was terrified of every little thing associated with that place, be it the classmates, the school grounds, and even the monitors. This was a boy who rarely mingled with his peers and would sit quietly in the corner playing with his blocks. Even the slightest mention of his name would get him all petrified and pull him down into his cocoon of hell. It was not that he was afraid of answering or anything. He just didn't like that attention onto him. My teacher at the time noticed this discomfort and came up to me and said, "Shantanu, I want you to be class monitor." I was stunned. Here was a 5-year-old kid who had rarely even interacted with his classmates, and suddenly promoted to class monitor. Surely this teacher is making a mockery out of me. But now when I look back, I realize I learned a lot from that experience. It got me more involved with class activities. It forced me to interact with my classmates. It gave me that early push that as a young boy, I desperately needed. I recently visited that teacher a few months back to ask her, why did you make a reserve kid like me class monitor? Surely there were better options, right? She simply said, the boy I see today is the boy I imagined all those years back, full of confidence and vigor. What can I say? I have a knack for turning oddballs into leaders. The teacher thereby paved the way and taught me to face all adversities and challenge my comfort zone. My second experience is slightly more dramatic. We all have seen Tare Zameen Par, right? A young teacher changes the life of a student struggling with his studies and turns him into a wonder boy in a matter of a few months. Okay, well, mine's not so amazing. As far as I can recall, I've struggled with science and mathematics all my life. Just like that little kid in the movie. I too thought that all the chemical equations, mathematical formulae were buzzing around my head, not making any sense. By the time I was in the 10th standard, I was positive to get that red mark in both those subjects. However, my teachers were determined to get me out of the pit I was so ready to enter. They held special classes for me and gave me extra work so as to erase that fear within me. I'm pretty sure without that extra help, I would have stayed in the same grade. And finally, coming to college, the fear of trying something new was still within me. I wanted to try my hand at everything, but for some reason, the knot within me wouldn't allow me to take that step forward. Drama auditions were about to be held, and I was all excited to participate. But for some reason, I just couldn't push myself to go forward. Finally, my life's biggest teacher decided it was time to intervene. My mother. She said, I had let my mind intervene with me for far too long. If I can't express myself through words, then maybe actions would work. I auditioned, and my gosh, what an impression I made. Drama became my life, and the stage my home. I performed in front of crowds of 10 and even 100. And now, no stage ever scares me. There's a famous quote which says, you give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. That's exactly what our teachers do. They teach and train our minds to face any hurdles which might come our way. And it's after all those lessons do we realize that we are our own mentors. We are the creators of our own destiny. I'd like to thank all you teachers present here who continuously help all of us to strive and grow. We will surely make you proud. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Our own mentors. Thank you, Toastmaster Shantanu, with that beautiful thought. Let us have 30 seconds break to give our feedback to Toastmaster Shantanu. Our third speaker for today is Toastmaster Tania. Her strengths are her creative and curious mindset. She is intuitive too. According to her, Zodiac may sound true at times, but hard work and destiny plays a major role always. Toastmaster Tanya is a Piscean, and it is said that if there is a Piscean in your life, then you will learn to give people a second chance. They will believe in others and Toastmaster Tanya, your qualities epitomize your zodiac sign. I would like to invite her evaluator, Toastmaster Pooja, to read out her speech objectives.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, guests, and my speaker, Tanya. Today, Tanya will present level 1, project 3, 2 to 3 minutes with speech title, Selling in the Modern Value Through Design. The purpose of her speech or the project is to learn or review basic research methods and present a well-organized, well-researched speech on any topic. All the best, Tanya. Over to you, Toastmaster Monica.
Thank you, Toastmaster Pooja. Toastmaster Tanya, Selling in the Modern World Through Design. Selling in the Modern World Through Design, Toastmaster Tanya.
I need to share my screen. Let me know when the time starts. I need some indication.
Tanya, you can pin me actually. I have the cards. I'll show you yellow when it is green and red.
Just give me a second. Okay, cool. Should I start?
Yes, please start.
Yes, please start.
In many cases, when we are trying to buy something, it's not just about getting those new things. It's more about the achievements, your dreams, sharing, giving, learning, and improving. Well, the advent of new technologies has opened up so many new perspectives for us as sellers and buyers. A decade or two ago, buying something on the internet was not a part of our daily routine, but now it is. Greetings to my fellow Toastmasters and all the esteemed guests present here. Today, I stress upon 4 different aspects that intrigue us as customers to buy something in the modern world. But before that, let me ask you this question. Do you understand what is design? Well, design is a very abstract term. And there's a myth all around the world that design is how it looks. But that's not the case. Let's take an example. On the screen, you see 2 things. A, the ketchup bottle. B, also the ketchup bottle. Well, if I use ketchup bottle 1 to pour some ketchup, and imagine the ketchup bottle has only 3/4 of the ketchup. All I'll have to do is keep banging the edge of the bottle so that some ketchup pours down. But with B, I'll have to just squeeze it. A gives me a bad experience because I have to use a lot of efforts, while B gives me a good experience. That exactly is design. Design is a method of problem solving and how things work in order to give us value, mainly the experience. And Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple, actually agrees with me. He has to say this thing. Some people think design means how it looks, but of course, if you dig deeper, it's really how it works. Today, Apple is a billion-dollar company. Why? Because of the value it provides us. User-friendly, updates, features, and a lot more. People are going crazy behind this product. So much so that everyone is even ready to sell their kidneys. Seriously. Let's now dig deeper into the 4 important things that businesses do to sell based on design. The first one is social proof. What exactly is social proof? Social proof is credibility and trust that we borrow from our consumers. Let's take example of Toastmasters today. We have our guest Tahira here. Well, her mother told her about Toastmasters and then also told her about Toastmaster Sharmila's speaking skills. And that's why she's here. Another very common example of social proof is how we decide to have our lunch or dine out in some restaurant. A simple thing we do. We go check Zomato and we go and check the ratings and some keywords over there. That's social proof. Businesses have successfully been doing this through their websites, through testimonials. Which brings me to my second aspect, that is keywords. Now, what exactly is keywords? Keywords are words that provide people with decision-making clarity. It can break or make an experience. Let's take an example of Myntra. It's festive season is going on and all of us want to buy new clothes. What we will do? We will go and scroll through some items, put it in our wish list, and after 5 minutes when we come, we'll see this. Only a few things left. These three words affect us so much that we fear of losing it and automatically go and purchase it. Almost all e-commerce websites have been using this thing as a selling point to get customers. The third and very important aspect is user engagement. Now, user engagement is getting users' attention. How? Through nudges. Let's take an example of Zomato. I mean, how many times in a day they nudge us with their notifications? And I love them personally because half of them are personalized. And another thing is that it gives me perfect message at a perfect timing. If I'm alone at home and I'm missing my parents, all it will say is, we'll arrange the food, you arrange a call. The fourth and very important aspect is price. Now, what is price? You will thinking design and price, what is it? Well, designers and project managers are behind the brains for deciding all this pricing thing. It's a psychological aspect. The $9.99, the $3.99, and obviously the $6.99. As humans, we read from left to right. And that's why the first number which is present, we capture it and that stays in our mind. And that's why we think that, okay, this price is reasonable and I think we should do the purchase. I want to conclude taking an example of Toastmasters itself. Let's say tomorrow Toastmasters Sartorio wants to invite his friend to Toastmasters. So all he'll do is use 4 things over here. Social proof. He'll talk about Toastmaster Sharmila, Toastmaster Aman, and Toastmaster Aarti and tell how they have represented our district and area level. Social proof. Second are the keywords. Keywords like elite. We are one of the best clubs in Goa. We have 35 members. User engagement through our invites and talking about our special meetings. And fourth, the price factor. Not 5,000, but 4,999. Well, I conclude my speech with some of the references and research materials that I've used. Thank you, and over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Tanya. Let us have 30 seconds break to give our feedback to Toastmaster Tanya. Our fourth speaker always is with a smile, no matter what the situation is. His smile and his willingness to pursue anything and everything exciting that he comes across is his strength. He says he's absolutely ignorant about the zodiac signs and is not even aware of his own zodiac sign. He's our Toastmaster Lloyd. Toastmaster Lloyd's zodiac sign is Virgo. A Virgo will teach you to be confident about yourself. They will help to recognize your own achievements and be proud of that. I can surely connect these traits to Toastmaster Lloyd. I would request his evaluator, Toastmaster Sharmila, to read out his speech objectives to me. Toastmaster Sharmila.
Thank you, Toastmaster Monica. Toastmaster Lloyd is doing his level 1 project 2 from his pathway motivational strategies. The purpose of his speech is for the member to present a speech on any topic, receive feedback, and apply the feedback to a second speech. So he is doing the part 1 of this project where he will give his speech, use the feedback that I have given, and use it for the next speech that he will do. His title is Step Up. All the very best, Toastmaster Lloyd. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sharmila. Toastmaster Lloyd, step up, Toastmaster Lloyd.
Each May, the Blackpool Ballroom Dance Festival lights up the entire town, attracting tourists and dancers from across the globe. The exhilaration and rapturous excitement was no different this year. In the midst of all that action, I found myself standing with my partner, all set to impress the adjudicators patrolling the dance floor. She smiled and nodded as I held her hand and twirled her into my arms. We fell in step and let the rhythm control our movements. It was perfect. I could feel the scenery and the people fade away. And the only thing I could actually hear was the loud sound of my morning alarm clock. Gosh, I was late to work again. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and my dear friends. The work routine the next day was monotonous as usual. The colds and the coughs, the fevers and the trauma cases made sure I was being kept busy as usual. But amidst all this action or busy schedule, I just couldn't stop thinking about my dream. It was too perfect not to be true. Days passed by and life moved on. But I just kept thinking of that beautiful dance floor I was present on. That is when I decided I need to do something about this. I either sleep on it and let go, or I work on it and make something happen. Google got me in touch with Dr. Martin DeCosta, the boss and chief trainer of Dance Illusions, the Goa Ballroom Dance School. And what he said next convinced me that this dream was worth chasing. Do not downgrade your dream to fit your present reality, he said. Instead, upgrade your conviction to match your destiny. With this, I decided there's no looking back and I am going to chase this dream. Here I was, adjusting my clinic timings to make sure that I could actually drive from Kalangut to our very own ICG hall in Panjim for a 2-hour class in ballroom dancing every Wednesday and Saturday. Life was beautiful and fun. A year passed by and I could feel the changes. A less shy doc, a fitter doc, significant weight loss, and a very positive state of mind. That is when, after a lot of rehearsal and group training sessions, our instructor felt it was time to put our gang for our first test. He enlisted us at a local club-level ballroom championship in Mumbai. So after practicing, we were there. The first competition, the experience was spectacular, but the results, not so much. Well, I did manage to get my bronze in the international walls in that event, but overall, Team Goa did not do well, and a very good friend of mine missed out on a medal as well. So we came back disappointed, feeling low. We know we had worked hard, but there we were, helping each other and telling each other that no, there is always a reward for hard work. It never goes unrewarded. So there I was, ready to go ahead with full power. But sometimes things change. Plans fail. Joy fades. Just when I was ready to give it my best shot, there was an accident on an ice rink with a major back injury. When I was trying to put my best move forward, I was checkmated myself. A few weeks later, I was sitting in front of my spinal surgeon for a checkmate again. He said, Lloyd, in view of those significant injuries, you are never going to ever dance again. A life-shattering moment. But you know what? When life gives you lemons, why not help yourself to a lemonade? I decided that the dream does not have an expiration date. So now I did not call my dream a dream. I called it a plan. So there I was with my team, with a lot of physiotherapy, a lot of exercise, a lot of help from my partners, ready to give it my best shot. This time, my teacher thought we were ready and enlisted us for the National Ballroom Dance Championships. It was never going to be easy, we knew it. But friends, it was done and dusted. With the help of Martin, my dance teacher, and Nadia, my partner, we managed to win the gold medal at the National Ballroom Dance Championships in the International Cha-Cha. This all proves that life can be compared to a game of chess. Very often, we come across hurdles and obstacles as checks or captures. But if we decide that we are going to stand firm, fight back, and do not give up, you will very soon realize that at the end of that game, you are still standing, this time as the champion, checkmating the opposition instead. It's time to step up your game. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Lloyd. Upgrade your conviction to match your destiny. That is a thought to take forward. Now let us have 30 seconds silence to give our feedback to Toastmaster Lloyd. Our fifth speaker for today identifies himself as someone who has a good grasping power, and he works towards mastering whatever he learns. He is Toastmaster Ryan. Toastmaster Ryan's zodiac sign is Scorpio. Scorpions tend to feel everything deeply. They are focused, passionate, and hardworking. And people of this zodiac sign will always push you to chase your goals. I can very well connect these traits to Toastmaster Ryan. I would request his evaluator, Toastmaster Ashish, to read out his speech objectives.
Thank you, Toastmaster Monica. My speaker today, Toastmaster Ryan. Ryan is doing his level 2, project 1, innovative planning pathway. And the purpose for his speech today is to identify his primary leadership style or styles and share some aspect of his leadership style, or he can discuss leadership styles in general. Over to you, Toastmaster Ryan. It's all yours. Go ahead. All the best. Toastmaster Monica.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ashish. Toastmaster Ryan, Eat, Pray, Learn. Eat, Pray, Learn, Toastmaster Ryan.
Hi guys, am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. John Quincy Adams. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. My name is Ryan Tezeris, and what I'm going to do today is take you on a journey. A journey on what inspires me and what I've observed and learned along the way. Leadership, according to me, is a lifelong quest. It comes more naturally to some, while for others, it's something learned. I've only just begun my journey, but I've always observed and learned, and the best leaders have this way of bringing out the best of you when the going gets tough. Leadership has so many aspects to it, so I thought I'd do my own little rendition by touching about some critical yet not normally spoken about in this self-searching journey, much like the book. To begin with, eat. When I talk about eat, I'm not talking about food only. Yes, that is a super important part. But what I really mean is consume. A well-balanced diet and regular exercise routine, according to me, is necessary. Most great leaders have razor-focused goals in mind, short and long-term, and excellent time management skills. But they were not always this way. In fact, what they really have is this incredible ability built over time to take information, consume it, and then strategically map it out. These habits compounded over time has taken them to the places they are right now. When asked about the key to success, billionaire wallet investor Warren Buffett said, read 500 pages every day. That's how knowledge works. It builds up like compound interest. He's not alone. Bill Gates consumes about a book a week. Simply asked how he learned to build rockets, Elon Musk replied, I read books. For me personally, I started reading books very late. And it is only when I started to truly enjoy reading that I started to make bigger leaps into my very young career of entrepreneurship. I still don't read as much as I'd like to, but it's definitely something I'd highly recommend. Next, we have pray. One thing that is super important is to have faith and believing that there's a power more superior to you. What this does is it humbles you so that you don't feel like the center of the universe. Faith in a higher power, who or whatever you believe in, and faith in your team. No leader can grow without a team. And building a safe environment of trust, positivity, transparency will motivate the team to take ownership and grow exponentially. A book I read a while ago comes to mind on this topic. It's called The Power of the Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy, which really quickly talks about the true potential of the subconscious mind, which makes up roughly 95% of our brain power. To activate it to its fullest, he writes, we should regularly meditate, practice visualization, feed ourselves positive affirmations, practice gratitude, and take other positive measures we love, such as music and art. Lastly, and most importantly, learn. Learning is something a leader must never stop doing. Putting into action all that they are consuming and applying it is so important to testing out an hypothesis. Amazon has a unique culture within the whole company that is fail fast, fail often. In the 2015 letter to its shareholders, Jeff Bezos wrote, I believe we are the best place in the world to fail. We have plenty of practice, and failure and invention are inseparable twins. To invent, you have to experiment. And if you know in advance that it's going to work, it's not an experiment. Allow me to clarify. What I mean by failure, because certain failures should not be embraced while others punished. For example, failing in the same way over and over again is not only unproductive, it means we are repeating mistakes and should not be celebrated or allowed to continue. When you hear people say fail forward, celebrate failure, or fail fast, what they really mean is something went wrong and we learned something meaningful. And speed matters. Fail fast is about learning as quickly as possible. If something is going to fail, we want it to happen as soon as possible to avoid wasted time and money. With all these phrases, we are celebrating the fact that we have failed and learned and no one got hurt in the process. It was an acceptable series of events because we moved forward and became better as a result. Life is a complex journey and we should never stop learning. In my previous speeches, I've always spoken about traveling. There is so much to learn when traveling. One of my favorite comedians, Trevor Noah, said, "Traveling is the antidote to ignorance." It really is. Traveling is not money wasted. It's an investment in yourself. Albert Einstein stated, "Once you stop learning, you start dying." Now, all this is easier said than done. We all lead busy lives with work, family, or whatever it is, but we should consciously do so. Keep a target of learning at least a new skill a year and spend at least 2 hours a week on it, whether it's a sport, craft, computer programming, scuba, skydiving, whatever floats your boat and tickles your interest. That's something all of us here at ICG can attest to. We all took a leap of faith and signed up, each of us for our own reason, but ultimately with the same goal in mind, to become better, more confident speakers. And lastly, I picked this title just to jazz things up a bit. I'm not taking the love away from the book. Love is important, and with the current times now more than ever. Stay close to your loved ones and reach out to that friend you haven't spoken to in years. Hopefully this wasn't a formal Gyan giving session and there's something everyone could relate to. I'll be signing out with the same quote I began with, by John Quincy Adams. If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, and do more, and become more, you are a leader. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ryan. Eat, pray, learn. That was a wonderful speech. Let us have 30 seconds silence to give feedback to Toastmaster Ryan. I now request the Zoom master to please launch the voting for the speakers today. Kindly vote for your best speaker from Stuti, Toastmaster Stuti, Toastmaster Shantanu, Toastmaster Tania, Toastmaster Lloyd, and Toastmaster Ryan. Thank you, Zoom Master. With this, we come to end of the first part. Whether to believe in the planetary influence is a personal choice. This world of stars, constellations is indeed mesmerizing. As a TMOD for today, it was an adventurous journey for me to know about this world. Zodiac signs. Zodiac signs are guided by the most important star of our solar system, the sun. The guiding star for Toastmasters is the general evaluator. Our guiding star for today is DTM Anil from Toastmasters Club, Mapsa. I now invite him to enlighten our path further, to take us forward with the second part of the meeting and guide us. Over to you, DTM Anil.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster.
Hello. Sorry to interrupt, TM Anil. Let's have one picture and then I'll hand it over to you. Everybody, please switch on your videos and give me your best smile. It's Zodiac. One more. I think we are done. Over to you, TM Anil.
Thank you very much, Zoom Master. Yes, fellow Toastmasters, friends, and guests. Today has been a very enigmatic meeting. We had a plethora of speakers, in fact, 5 speakers all talking on different aspects. And to evaluate them is going to be as much of a challenge as voting for the right candidate, because I felt all 5 of them were equally good. And we should have 5 Best Speaker Awards. Now, evaluation is the heart of Toastmasters. This is an opportunity for us to look into the mirror and see what we did right, and in a way, what we didn't do right, and how to correct and how to get corrected on things that we didn't do right. There's nothing as we did something wrong. So to help me get through this segment, we have 5 wonderful evaluators. And each one of them is going to take time to evaluate based on the project objectives, on the outline that's given to them by their respective speakers. So our first evaluator is a practicing counselor dealing with personal issues and a teacher of English in the secondary section. She may not swear by the Zodiac signs, but finds it very enigmatic. Maybe by coincidence, but she finds that many of the traits are very similar to the ones that are mentioned under her sign most of the time. This keeps her further curious, motivating her to read further. So please put your hands together and welcome the evaluator for study, Toastmaster Aarti. Timer, for the benefit of all the evaluators, could you once again tell us the timing rules?
A very good evening to our dear Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters, guests, and my dear speaker for today, Toastmaster Stuti. Firstly, kudos to you for staying calm and unfluttered during the technical glitch. Moving on to your speech. Wow, what a speech. My list of positives goes on really, really long. I love the energy with which you started. All into fully charged for your speech. The voice modulation was excellent. You knew when to pitch it up and down. And what I really liked about your speech today, the presence on your screen, the space used, the screen space used was excellent. And that is a conscious improvement that I have seen over the speeches that you've presented in time. I also loved the little drama that you put forth about the patient, about Hagrid, and most importantly, with the glasses to give us a truly TM Vishwaja feel. So that added a lot of spice to your speech, which added also the little zest and enthusiasm to know, oh wow, what's coming up next. You very smartly also ensured to get the audience connected and ensure that we are paying attention by asking us those questions off and on during your speech, expecting us to guess what kind of communication it was. And that was a very smart move. You ensured that we as audience picked on what information you threw at us, and also that we were consciously paying attention to what you were sharing with us. Another major positive in your speech today, Toastmaster Stuti, was that you kept coming close to the camera whenever you wanted to emphasize on certain details. That brought or caught to our attention further. That was a very nice move. Your eye contact was excellent. Your pace was excellent. Hand gestures were excellent. So overall, it was, wow, what a speech. But if there are a couple of recommendations that I could put forth, the first one is a very basic one. That is to recheck on your network, because many a times the technical glitch can either get you fluttered, or as audience, we may tend to get a little disconnected. So that is one thing that you could recheck. And the second thing that I would like to recommend is letting us know a little more of you. Your introduction was superb. The body was very, very informative, very, very engaging. But the conclusion or the third part of the speech could have let us know a little more about you as to why you follow this particular way of communication, what encouraged you, or a little more information. But to sum it up, it was an excellent speech, very well presented, And with the work on little recommendations, you will be superb. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you very much. Now we come to our second evaluator, who is also a yoga practitioner and spends his time watching trees, clouds, and mountains, and the space in between them too. In between time, he teaches, he trains, and he does consulting practice at the Goa Institute of Management. He's a Librian. In other words, he loves to live in a fantasy. Please put your hands together to welcome the evaluator for Shantanu, Toastmaster Paddy.
Thank you, Anil. Thank you, TM Anil. I just noticed there were two parts of audience engagement strategy that our TM Shantanu have used. It was subtle and it was like a trance using a soft voice. Shantanu, you started with a simple statement in a mellow tone and with asking the audience, what first thing comes to your mind? From the beginning to end, in the first two sentences, I could see and observe there are two outcomes you have achieved. One, you made the audience to listen intent and carefully what you're planning to speak. And second, you ended with engaging them with a question. You didn't stop there. All of a sudden, from a mellow, soft tone, you suddenly with a raised voice, you said, good evening. It almost woke us from a trance. It was impressive. The way you crafted the beginning of the speech was interesting. You invited the audience to look at the character. Who is you? By disassociating yourself from the character. You have portrayed that character and described as a timid little boy. You didn't say, I'm a timid little boy. You showed us to look there, a timid little boy, which is none other than yourself. It was a good storytelling technique. You have nicely used your body language. You used your physical gesture effectively. It was quite committed. Each and every gesture was quite committed and promising. At the same time, it was not forcefully fit into your speech. I mean, you're fully integrated your body language, the speech in sync with the content to deliver an exemplary speech. With respect to voice variety, a lot of improvements you have made. You used your tone, volume as an effective tool. You brought in emotions, for instance, when you narrated your struggle and discomfort. You used low volume, and when you enacted your teacher, you brought in raised voice and commanding tone. When narrated another incident of meeting your teacher, you brought in surprise. There are varieties of emotions you brought inside your speech. Finally, we should not miss this. When you spoke about your mother, it carried a lot of compassion and love too. You used your eye contact to engage audience. However, I could notice there was a slight tension that you're holding in your eyes by squeezing it. Maybe you could relax it. Secondly, you could adjust your camera or the instrument to relax your neck. Every time you're coming forward and going back with your neck. Maybe you have to raise it in an angle that you're comfortably using the stage space. However, you not only demonstrate your awareness of audience engagement, but also engage them with highly compelling, well-constructed content. Finally, you did not miss to share your personal experience as a prodigy. You brought a compelling story, not one story, 3 incidences, 3 stories about your experience. It was wonderful listening to your speech and looking forward to listen more from you. Here to you.
Thank you very much. And that brings us to our third evaluator, who happens to be very witty, hilarious, and loves to make friends. In her own words, she is what she is. A Gemini by itself is a gem that's rare and unique, so better treasure her. Now, Gemini, as a Gemini, she's constantly on the hunt for the next fun thing to do. You either find them the greatest blessing or your worst nightmare. That's her own words. Please put your hands together and welcome the evaluator for Toastmaster Tanya, Toastmaster Pooja. Over to you, Toastmaster Pooja.
Thank you, General Evaluator, TM Anil. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, guest, and my speaker, Toastmaster Tanya. A great presentation gives us a smart ideas and advantage. where you started with the new technology of how the buying and the selling can be done. You started with different types of PPT presentations. You asked us a question wherein you know what is the meaning of a design. You said it is an abstract word, but then you came up with some different examples from the household ketchup, which is also in the bottle frame and in the plastic frame. You told us about the bottle frame, which needs a little more time to put out. It also says it is a kind of a bad experience. And you said about the plastic, where we can squeeze and put it out very well. It was a good design. That's what I felt through you, a good experience. You even spoke about Steve Jobs, which you said about the design is how it looks. But in a deeper version, it is on how it works. And I agree to this too. You spoke about Apple logo, wherein you even said that Apple logo is such a prime logo where each and every one wants to have it. Even maybe by selling a kidney. That was a hilarious one which you gave in between. Now you gave us some particular aspects on how we need to design a product. A social proof is what we require, a credibility and a trust. Here you gave an impromptu message about our own Toastmasters, about Tahira's mom, where Sharmila ma'am speaks so well with her skills. You spoke about Zomato, and then you highlighted about the keywords on how the decision making was very important, whether to make it or to break the product. And you spoke about the best thing on Myntra. You spoke about the user engagement Zomato, on how you get the intimations, and last, the price, which is a psychological effect. What I recommend you is that you should have an articulation, a speaker's clarity. You can do this in two different ways, in which you can give a listener some time to listen to each word. At the end, I feel it is a great title when I was inquisitive to know more. A great presentation gives us smart ideas and advantage is what I take along. And I'm sure with my small recommendation, you can even train an intern with your presentation. Over to you, General Evaluator. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Pooja. Our fourth evaluator is a die-hard believer of you do good, you get good. She claims to be a typical Cancerian, sensitive yet practical, homey yet enjoys socializing, and basically she wants to live life to her fullest. To evaluate our fourth speaker, Toastmaster Lloyd, please welcome Toastmaster Sharmila. Over to you, Toastmaster Sharmila.
Thank you, TM Aman. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
All right, thank you. Toastmaster Lloyd, when you began your speech and started recollecting the dance where you were twirling your partner, for a minute, my heart froze because I thought you were going to tell everybody about the day you twirled me on stage a couple of years back. And then, believe me, I heaved a huge sigh of relief when I heard that alarm clock. And I realized that it was just a dream you're talking about and not the day that you twirled me on the dance floor. You know, Walt Disney has said, if you can dream it, you can do it. All of us dream a lot of things. Many of us don't do what we dream of. It is so inspiring to hear that somebody has actually dreamt something and went on to do it. That in itself is an inspiration to all of us. Toastmaster Lloyd, your vivid dream actually took you to learn dancing. It pushed you towards the dance class where you learned dancing and you excelled in it. So well done to bring about a topic which inspired us right from the minute you began speaking. When I talk about where you excelled in, believe me, your mastery over the language is impeccable. Your choice of words is so perfect. When you say things like plans fail, joys fade, it is impactful and makes it sound so profound. As a word lover myself, as a language lover myself, you really swept me away just making me listen to all the words that you have used. Your second strength, besides your languages, is the way you use your pauses. And I'm sure all of us have to learn from you. You use your pauses beautifully so that we know when to listen to your words. When you said, do not downgrade your dreams to fit your reality. Upgrade your conviction to match your destiny. It was a very heavy statement, but you broke it so well that we were able to understand the meaning behind it. If I have to ask you to work on a couple of things, because you're still in Toastmasters, newbie, so to speak, first and foremost, whether you are doing it offline or online, use the stage space. Imagine that you are on stage and people are watching you. Even though your screen stage is small, use it well. Center stage, the beginning. Left side, your learning of the dance. Your right side, when you won your championship. Back to center stage when you're giving your message. Then the ideas stick well in the listener's mind. Second thing, I've spoken about your pauses, but I'd like you now to work on and challenge yourself on your voice modulation. Use voice modulation well. Otherwise, a brilliant speech, very, very impactful. Use these two suggestions that I've given you and always waiting to hear more from you, Dr. Lloyd. Thank you. Over to you, GE.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sharmila. And now we come to our very final evaluator. He likes to travel and play cricket, and he takes life as it comes, each day at a time. As a Virgo, he believes that destiny may be decided or predetermined, as they say. But he adds one more thing. He says, a lack of effort definitely mar it. To evaluate our final speaker, Toastmaster Ryan, please help me welcome our evaluator, Toastmaster Ashish. Over to you, Toastmaster Ashish.
Thank you, TM Anil. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Just a second before you start my time. Yeah. TM Ryan, the quiet demeanor and the persona that you carry is enigmatic in itself. And mind you, it's a very positive remark I'm trying to make. You opened your speech with a very wonderful quote. If your actions inspire, and it itself was in the making of a leader. So that was wonderful opening. Then you went, the topic itself, eat, pray, and learn, was like an enigma to me. Eat and pray was enigma. Learn, maybe we could guess. So that was very, very inquisitive to start with. You clearly delineated it to your personal life, my journey. So we were waiting to hear your personal anecdotes. You use three categorical things: reading, fate or faith, and learning as three major constituents of a good leadership style, or a good leader or a leadership style. You went on to give examples of each of them, and you very subtly named all the best, one of the best leaders in the world in present times, whether it's John Quincy Adams or Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, or Joseph Murphy. Two of them charismatic leaders, rest of them are very transformational leadership styles. And then your speech was very clear. You used beautiful words and quotes, or little words that caught my attention, and probably it will keep crowd's attention also, audience's attention, like fail fast, fail often, float your boat, jazz things, stay close to your loved ones, and reach out to the quiet friend. It was perfectly timed, and they came at different intervals, so it kept it very well. Your body was well formed, and I would come to conclusion, but with a few things that I can suggest you. is your speech was clear, but the tone was very flat. So tonal fluctuations could help you. At times, I thought your speech, the speed of your speech was a little rapid or more than usual. You could use some pauses to your benefit. While we are speaking on a camera, we should remember if you move too in and out, suddenly you come very close, as if you're coming very close to the audience, and it distracts the listener. So keep that in mind. You had wonderful content from the one of the best leaders of the world at this present time. But I would say if you may reduce a little bit of your content, it gives more to the listener to grasp. And I also felt that you've given wonderful, examples, but personal anecdotes a little more. I know you personally, you read a lot, and you also have a lot of learning, other skills that you love. But the listeners should understand, and your conclusion was perfect, I should say. And if you just incorporate this few, you will definitely, your transformational leadership style can definitely bring in lots. All the best. Over to you, Anil.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ashish. And now that we come to the end of our evaluators session, it's time for us to ask the timer if all the speakers have qualified, and all the evaluators basically have qualified. So
Yes, general evaluator, all the speakers are qualified.
excellent. While the Zoom master is preparing the polls, I'm going to be asking our grammarian to briefly give us the grammarian report. Toastmaster Davina, you have 1 to 2 minutes to give us your report. Over to you.
Hello, everybody. You may think this is the first time I'm a grammarian, right? Well, I'm a grammarian every day. I'm an English teacher. I can't help it. All in all, there was a lovely use of different phrases like actions speak louder than words, give a man to fish and you feed him for a day, but teach a man to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. A couple of grammatical errors did occur, some pronunciation errors. It isn't asked, but asked. It is grateful to whom, so it is to a person, and grateful for something. Very wonderful isn't grammatically correct. You can just use wonderful. But all in all, it was amazing. I was ecstatic to hear the word of the day on multiple occasions. Toastmaster Sertorio, Toastmaster Anil, Toastmaster Ashish was just some of the few who used it, and it goes on. There was even a wonderful use of the word of the day, rapturous, which happened the word of the day a couple of meetings back. The grammar used was absolutely brilliant. It was a wonderful meeting. I honestly was listening to look and trying to find errors, but it was not there. I guess because half of ICG Toastmasters are from Sharda Mandir, so it is quite difficult for errors to actually occur. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
No, you got lost for a minute.
All
you
right.
Go ahead.
Yes. Sorry about that. Yes, a lot of technical issues were there in which I kind of missed out sentences, but I guess offline meetings are a requirement to actually grasp the entire thing when it comes to such a thing. As a teacher, I'm also a student, and I have a question. Is it aspect or aspect? Aspect or aspect? So that is just one question that I had. I heard it earlier today, but I wasn't sure. And I think it was wonderful. With that, I end my report. I do not merge list anywhere, so I not see that.
That's great.
All right.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Davina. That was a nice, succinct report. Really appreciated that. Our next evaluator or next report is going to be from the timer. Timer, you have 1 to 2 minutes. Please, over to you, Toastmaster Nelly.
No matter how far we are always under the same sky. And today we are all on time. Toastmaster Stuti ended her speech on 7 minutes, 15 seconds. Toastmaster Shantanu, 6 minutes, 17 seconds. Toastmaster Tanya, 6 minutes, 37 seconds. Toastmaster Lloyd, 7 minutes, 7 seconds. Toastmaster Ryan, 6 minutes, 51 seconds. The evaluators, Toastmaster Aarti, 3 minutes, 26 seconds. Toastmaster Paddy, 3 minutes, 13 seconds. Toastmaster Pooja, 3 minutes, 21 seconds. Toastmaster Sharmila, 3 minutes, 19 seconds. Toastmaster Ashish, 3 minutes, 22 seconds. Wow, what a meeting it was, and enigmatic to the core. And over to you, Toastmaster, General Evaluator.
Oh, thank you very much. Impeccable record keeping from our timer. It's really nice. And our next role player is the R counter. R counter, you have 1 to 2 minutes to give us your report. Over to you, Toastmaster Smita.
Thank you, General Evaluator. It was wonderful, mesmerizing with all the adjectives. The listeners were one better than other. The constellation shining brightly and Zodiac at its pinnacle. So when we tried to observe the counters, actually the listeners were struck. So these evaluators as well as the speakers, there were very few repetitive words. All of them, most of them used the day of the word. Pauses were used to their use. So the pauses were taken at the right time, right place, and at the right time. So here, very few have taken, or barring few, they have used the word enigmatic. But yes, definitely, it was very, very wonderful and learning experience. Thank you, and over to General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Smita. And finally, our last role player is the listening up segment. In the next 1 to 2 minutes, Toastmaster Korean is going to make sure that we all paid attention. So this time I abdicate the floor to Toastmaster Korean. Over to you, Toastmaster Korean.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anil. And wow, what a lovely evening we had when we spent listening to all the wonderful speakers. But now it is a time when I get to see who all listened carefully. And let me tell you, all of you who get the right answers to what I ask are going to get some chocolates the next time, right? So let me start by asking, and you can just raise your hands or maybe just, start, you just put on your mics, please. You don't want to lose out on the chocolates, right? Okay, so first one, who motivated our guest, Tahira, to join Toastmasters? You could just start, yeah? Who was that? Could you just, somebody needs to give a check.
Her mother.
Mother.
We don't want too many people here, yeah? Okay. Who was the first? Somebody has to help me in this. Who was the first to say that? Her mother is the right answer.
Vishwila, I think.
Give chocolates to everybody for this.
On the first message gets the prize.
Yes, yes. Okay, this chocolate goes to everybody. Let's try the next one. So you guys are listening very carefully at the start. That's wonderful. Now, what were the 4 different types of communication TM Stuti spoke about? Come on, guys. Who's going
direct, initiating,
direct, supportive, and analytical.
Are you guys conspiring? Saying it all at a time and winning chocolates all for yourselves? I mean, this is like a conspiracy, yeah? Okay, let's go for the next one. On what point does Steve Jobs apparently agree with TM Tanya?
Designing.
Exactly. Who said that?
Nelly said.
Oh, okay. At least on this one, we have once. I save my chocolates at least once. Okay. Let's go to the next one. Who said, as humans, we read from left to right? And does everyone agree with that?
TM Tanya.
TM Tanya, wonderful. And do you all agree with that?
Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
absolutely.
Not always.
It's this time because there are languages which are written right to left, and humans have absolutely no problem reading that. It's just that we have trained our minds in that. So you know what? We're going to cancel the chocolates. You all won in the first question. We cancel out here, yeah. So I saved some money on that. Okay, so we go to the next one. TM Lloyd used some really nice words. Rapturous excitement, twirled into my arms, and also some nice quotes like upgrade your imagination to make your destiny. Wow, that was amazing. Okay, so I'm sorry, that was not a question. That's something I wanted to share. Now for the next question, who in their speech said, "When life gives you lemons, why not treat yourself with some lemonade?"
Toastmaster Lloyd.
Wow. That was nice. That was fast. So Lloyd, everyone was actually listening so carefully to your wonderful. Now the last one, who did TM Ryan quote during his speech and at the end of his speech? And
John
just
Quincy.
to let you know, if you get it wrong, all your chocolates are cancelled. Yeah.
What year? John
This is a trick
Quincy.
question. Oh yes, who said that?
He's evaluator.
Oh no, that's not fair. No, that's not fair. That's not fair. I think I should have put a condition there. Yeah. Okay.
You didn't give it. You gave me the choice.
So TM Ashish gets the chocolate. Yeah. Okay. So for all your initiatives and all the energies you put in, and all the listening and all the speeches, let me just end with a very motivating quote by Mirza Ghalib. मंजिलें मिलेंगी जरूर देर से ही सही भटके तो वो हैं जो घर से निकले ही नहीं. Thank you.
Thank you very much, listener. Toastmaster Korean, you made it very enigmatic, very interesting. We all were paying attention to exactly what the questions were being asked. Now it's time for us to listen to me and only me, and I've got 5 to 7 minutes. So let's see how I'll start. I'm going to start at the very beginning, like as the stories say, once upon a time, long time ago. I really am thrilled and excited to be the general evaluator. When I was asked to take up this role by the president, Toastmasters Ethereum, and the panel of evaluators who proudly selected me, I was quite nervous because I've heard of ICG having quality meetings, quality members, dynamic members, that too. And I expected a lot more from the club. And fortunately, you delivered exactly to my expectations. In fact, even much more. I like the way things were planned prior to the meeting. It was done in a very systematic manner. Although you started out with 6 speakers, 1 dropped out at the last minute, but that was quite well planned in the agenda as it was released today. The role players did a good job. The grammarian introduced the word of the day, really nice, a very simple word, not a very common word, but something that we could incorporate into the theme of the day. The theme of the day was well selected. So for this, I have to salute the Toastmaster of the day. Your themes have to always be catchy, innovative, and something that draws members to come and attend. Not only members, but even guests and non-Toastmasters too. The timer did a very good job. I like the fact that the timer was kind of on the spot. Only towards the end, I think after the grammarian report, the timer, I don't know whether it was my screen, but I didn't think the timer maintained the timing of 1 to 2 minutes for that. So we need to maintain time all the way till the end. Now, I don't want to evaluate.
It says eliminate corruption.
I don't want to evaluate the individual speakers because the evaluators have done a great job giving them feedback. So I'm going to touch upon general guidelines about the speeches that were really good. When you prepare a speech, we have to have a mentor present with us. The mentor is somebody who will help us ensure that it meets the outline guidelines and the objectives of the speech, the purpose statements, and the purpose of the project. In general, the purpose of the project and the purpose of the speech was well met. But I feel that if you have a mentor, try to use your mentor to practice and to accentuate your speeches to a little higher level. And I feel the club is doing a great job on this, but there is scope for improvement. The evaluators were spot on. They did a great job. But for the audience, especially members who are not as active and regular, we did not know the objectives of the speech. So what would have been a good idea is either in the agenda or in the chat box, we could have put out the purpose statement and the purpose of the project. So that way, when the feedback was being given to the evaluators, to the speakers, sorry, they would know exactly and they would be in sync with the speech objectives. Right now, we gave general feedback because we could not listen attentively and take proper notes. Coming to our to our counter. Our counter did a good job. I presume this is the first time or one of the first few times you've taken up the role, and I do strongly believe that you need to talk to your mentor to see how you can give the R counters report in a much better manner. One of the best things to do is have a little sheet of paper and write down the number of R's, the crutch words, the filler words, and so forth, and words that in a way broke the sentence or the meanings of the sentence by having unnecessary pauses, which I tend to call as pregnant pauses. In a pregnant situation, you tend to deliver, but in the case of a pregnant pause, you just kill the sentence. Our listener did a good job. Although your timing was 1 to 2 minutes, you went a little bit overboard, but that's fine because since we had one speaker that dropped out, we still did have time, and it was done in a very entertaining and enlightening manner. So I feel it was great. Now a suggestion for the XCOM and a suggestion for the Toastmasters in Goa in general. We have a minor role and we have major role. I feel everything is a major role. There's no minor role in Toastmasters. Every role we take is major. So maybe we could change the terminology and say major role and supporting role. That does make sense, doesn't it? So I mean, this is something for the XCOM to think about. Again, being ICG, you're going to set the benchmark. All the other clubs in Goa are going to start emulating you, and very soon the word minor role will be phased out, and the word supporting role will come in its place. So you will be the Mercedes-Benz, the people who invent the ABS, the people who invent the seat belts, the people who invent all the safety devices, but you don't patent it. So everyone copies it, and that becomes universal standards for the automobile industry. So maybe that's something that ICG can proudly pat yourself on the shoulder and say, we did that, they're copying us. Now with this said and done, I would like to conclude by saying this club is growing by strength and strength. What I've heard in the past and what I've seen when we had physical meetings in the years that I was visiting Goa is what exactly the club is doing today. Keep up this enthusiasm, keep up this momentum, and you will be the torchbearers of the Toastmaster clubs in Goa and to a large extent in the area, the division, and the district. With this, it is time for me to hand over to the president for the closing remarks, but I guess there's going to be voting done, right? So maybe it's time for us to vote. I feel all 5 were winners, but I guess only one goes home with the trophy. So please take the next 30 seconds to vote for your best evaluator, the best major role player, and minor role player, I guess. So with this, it's time for me to finally say goodbye to everyone and hope to see you in a couple of weeks. Over to you, Toastmaster Sethiru, for your closing remark.
Yeah, thank you, DTM Anil. We'll just hold on for a second for the voting to Zoom master, do tell me when voting is done.
Yes. Let's wait for a few seconds, Satorio. I'll
Okay.
let you know.
In the meanwhile, Sartorio, you want to talk to the new guests who just joined in between? Are they still there?
Yes. So
Let me see
I
who's there.
can see Kamini Kaushik. Can you introduce yourself?
I am Kamini from Mumbai. I've been introduced to this Toastmasters group, and I'm so happy to meet you all here. This was an extremely informative and a very interesting group. And I hope to be with you all and go further with this.
Thank you, Kamini. From whom did you get to know about Toastmasters? May I know?
Mr. Umesh.
Oh, I think you're not the only Toastmaster who got to know through him. So,
Yes.
do you have any feedback for the meeting?
It was so nice. It was my first meeting today, and extremely informative, very enthusiastic. Everybody was so enthusiastic. It was just lovely. I can't wait for the next one.
Oh, and do join a club, Kamini.
Yes,
and
please.
our club is a good club to join. So, just to give you some recommendation.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Next,
Sonia Fernandez.
Sonia Fernandez.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I keep getting these messages of the meeting every time, and but today I was just attracted because of the Zodiac.
Oh.
And it was like a mysterious, but I thought the speakers would be talking on that topic, but I was not aware like you can talk on any other topic. So I was under the impression everyone is going to talk on astrology, astronomy. So that's why I just attend this meeting. And it's been just this is the first month for me. I'm very new.
Yeah, I heard you. You did a wonderful job in your humorous speech. So you're from Vancouver.
Yeah, that humorous speech. It was just by luck that I got it.
Yeah. So to explain to you, Sonia, so the speeches are based on the path or the educational levels that are currently done by the speaker. So the theme of the meeting is only done by the Toastmaster of the day.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think she did.
Nice. Yeah, I really enjoyed listening to everyone.
Okay. Thanks a lot, and yeah, do see you a lot more times in ICG.
Yeah, actually, I'm pursuing my master's, right? So it's otherwise, I would love to attend all the meetings. It's really nice to listen to everyone.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot, and do visit us again.
Of course.
So we have Tahira. So Tahira, can you give us a feedback?
As well.
Well, everyone spoke so well here today, and I've been really inspired by everyone.
So are you thankful to your mother, or do you blame her?
Yes, I am really thankful for her to actually introduce me. She came to know about this because of Ma'am Sharmila. So I'm thankful to Ma'am Sharmila as well.
Yeah, so Tahira, I can already see that you're a great speaker, and there's only improvement to be done, and we'll be happy to have you in the club.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tahira. Yes, as TM Umesh said, our guest, Kanchan, can you introduce yourself?
Kanchan, you're mute, Kanchan.
Sorry. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
What I really felt after listening to all of you all was the excellent flow of your, the flow of the meeting, the flow of your speech, and nowhere nothing was interrupted, and it was it was a flawless event or a flawless meeting that just took place. And everyone was so apt in whatever they had to say. So it was kind of encouraging and to be here more and listen to you all more. Yeah, thank you so much for having me here today.
Thank you, Kanchan. And yeah, we would like to have you more often. And
yeah,
if you are a member, it would be even better. So.
Yeah, sure. I'll be there soon.
Okay. So, Zoom Master, do we have the results?
Yes, we do. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Let me share my screen. Just a second. Okay. Let's do the drill. The best speaker for today is Toastmaster Lloyd. Please unmute yourselves and give him a huge round of applause. I think it was a tough competition today. All the 5 speakers were equally good.
Thank you.
Best evaluator. This was also quite tough for everyone to vote is Toastmaster Sharmila.
Thank you.
Speaker and the mentor.
No, she's not his mentor.
Yeah. His evaluator.
Yes. The best major role player was, I think this is a given. Please unmute yourself and give a huge round of applause to our Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Monica. It was her debut role and she did a fantastic job in a very short span of time. So kudos to you. And the best, we have rephrased this, TAGL player, that is tag team plus the listener, goes to our listener for today, Toastmaster Korean, for engaging all of us and doing it in a very fun way. That's it from your Zoom Master. Over to you, Toastmaster Siddharth.
So Zoom Master, you get chocolates for this.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you to our bubbly Zoom Master. And first of all, I would like to thank a very distinguished general relator for today. He has a lot of experience and he was kind enough to take the role. So thank you, and the feedback what you gave, we'll definitely look into that. Second, I would like to congratulate Toastmaster Monica again.
Thank you. Thank you.
She did a wonderful job, and for the next TMOD, we have to learn from her. She maintained the buzz all throughout. So we can see it from the participation also. So there was a lot of buzz, a lot of enthusiasm, and I think you have put a lot of hard work, especially in the video. You tell me you have recorded it multiple times. So kudos to Toastmaster Monica. I have a few announcements from the club. First of all, our mentor, TM Umesh, he has completed level 4. Everybody can unmute and a huge round of applause. I think he's going to add.
Congratulations.
He's going to add one more DTM to his.
Get the fatigue.
Yeah. So another good news from the club is that we have completed 7 out of the 10 points. We are now a select distinguished club. I think right in the 3rd or 4th month.
Fantastic.
Let's give a round of applause to VP Education. I think she has done a fabulous job. Yeah, and we are not stopping unless we get the diamond award. Okay, so our next meeting is going to be the Diwali meeting, and it's going to be on the 2nd week of November, and we are going to try our best to make it an offline meeting. So we want maximum participation, and we're going to let you know in a very few days. So in a couple of days, we're going to tell the schedule and how it is. So stay tuned. So that was it from the club. Thank you all. And see you soon. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank you
Adish.
so much.
Good night.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Good night.